I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. Half the world away, half the world away, half the world away. I've been lost, I've been found, but I don't feel bad.
Good day, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. You're listening to the Half the World Away Celtic podcast from Hail Hail Media on Spreaker.com. My name's Kevin O'Neill and I'm based in Mandurah, Western Australia. I'm originally from Coatbridge, and over the other side of the country in Melbourne, Victoria, is my good friend Mr. Patrick Close. Good day, Pat.
G'day, Kevin. G'day.
Oh, was that a bit of an accent tonight?
Bangladesh on.
G'day. No, I'm watching the footy, Kev. I'm just getting into the Australian spirit and stuff, becoming a fair dinkum Aussie.
What's
So
the
I'm sitting
score
watching-
actually just now?
It's, Geelong are, believe it or not, beating Hawthorn currently by 7 points. So that's not the reason I was late, by the way. That was a different reason.
No.
So.
Yes,
But,
we'll come on to that later.
Oh, well, oh, Jesus, thanks for that, yeah.
Oh, well, we might. We'll see. We'll see how we go. But anyway, you heard another voice there in the background, and it's our good friend and regular on the show now as well, Mr. Martin Kelly. How are you, Martin?
I'm good, mate. How's yourself, mate?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Good to have you on the show again, sir.
Yeah, it's good to be on.
Well, folks, what we're going to be, in fact, before I run down what we'll be talking about tonight, there's not a huge amount, but there was obviously a big game during the week, and we'll certainly be talking about that. But if you are listening in live, please do interact with us tonight. The easiest way to do that is via that good old thing, Twitter. You can send your tweets to at halftheworld88. That's at halftheworld88. So if you get any questions or any comments, like Jim Kinlan, for example, he's just said, "Hal bloody Luya," because we were a little bit later than usual tonight. But anyway, we've made it. So you can send us your tweets. You can Skype us in if you fancy. Usually we manage about 4-5 tops maybe on the old Skype before it goes belly up on us. But as you can tell, there's only 3 of us on just now. So yeah, if you fancy, if you got a pressing point of discussion or a question you want to ask us, you just want to join the show and join the banter, you can Skype us in, or you can leave some comments in the speaker chat room as well, and hopefully we'll try to keep our eyes peeled on that. So that's the best way to get in touch with us tonight, folks. We are also hopefully at some point going to be joined by Stephen Harvey. Stephen will maybe Skype us in and tell us about a little Australian convention or gathering of Celtic fans on the Gold Coast that's been planned. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Certainly if Stephen calls in, he can give us the update. If Stephen has too much wine, then maybe Chris McMonigal will join us. And if neither of them Skype in, we've got some information on a little website, and I'll be happy to go through it and put the word out there. So I guess that's the intros, folks. And without further ado, we might as well speak about that game. The title of tonight's show is the Italian Jobby. And now, obviously, it was a massive game, our first game of the new Champions League campaign against AC Milan in the San Siro on Wednesday night, or the early hours of Thursday morning, as it was in Oz. First of all, Martin and Pat, did we all get up and watch it?
No, I miscalculated my time. I thought it was 6 o'clock start. And by the time I realised I was wrong, I'd missed enough of it. So, no, I didn't.
Right.
Good Lord.
Have you since seen it though, Martin? Did you record it or something?
No, my Betamax video wasn't working.
Oh, jeez.
So I've seen the highlights.
Right.
Oh, Jesus. Can we get somebody else on that actually did see the game and actually could make a valid comment then?
No,
Jesus,
I've read extensively about it, and I think I'm pretty confident I can make a lot of good comments about it. So, yeah.
Right, good. Well, we'll see. We will be the judge of this then, Martin. Very shortly. Pat, I take it you got up and watched it, mate.
Oh, being a true supporter, Kev, yeah, I did actually get up and watch it, And I had 2 alarms set, none of this 1 alarm nonsense. No, it was, yes. It was a fairly yes, early, because it 4:45 kick-off for us over here, so it would be 4:43 for you over there.
No, for me,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's a live kick-off, Martin. None of this, delayed stuff, see. Unbelievable, seriously.
Now,
Bloody
did you
hell,
watch
Martin,
it
is what Jim Kinlan's already said. Bloody hell, Martin. So, yes. Yes, so anyway, he's actually wanting to come in the call already. I think he's going to give you an absolute hounding there, Martin Kelly. So here he comes.
Well.
Is he there? Here he comes, Jim Bob.
Didn't take him long.
No, I think he's angry. I think he's angry. That's why he wants to go. Are you there, Jim?
Oh,
He's there physically.
We can't hear you, Jim. You are here in some way, shape or form, but you're not here in another shape or form.
See, that's how angry he is. He can't even talk.
You'll maybe need to check your mic or your headphones or something, Jim, or maybe hang up and try to come in again in a minute, because we certainly can't hear you if you're chatting. Anyway, right, let's talk. Well, Pat, you saw the game now. Did you watch it on the fabulous thing that is ESPN3.com? Did you find some other manner or means to watch it?
Kind of, yes. It was the same coverage. It was the same. What do you call it? It was Sky TV, was it? Or was it STV? Can't remember now. But anyway, same coverage as what everyone watched. So. But yes, it was. The coverage was actually not too bad. You got a good sort of feeling for the crowd and stuff like that. But, So yeah, I was quite happy with it. But obviously not the result. But that's another story. But yeah, it was all good. It was really excited to get up and watch it. I was feeling really super confident going into it. Well, not super confident, but confident.
Now, that's an interesting point, because I must admit I certainly wasn't confident. I knew that Milan had quite a lot of injuries prior to the game, but again, being Mr. Half Glass Empty when it comes to Celtic a lot of the time, I just thought it's still AC Milan, it's still the San Siro. We've got a dreadful record in Italy.
We've never won in Italy, have we?
I don't believe we had. Certainly not in recent times anyway, but I don't know.
I thought, and look,
Have we ever won?
Could be. I didn't think we'd ever won in Italian soil.
Yeah, and that's probably correct. But no, I mean, I thought we might do okay. I would have been happy for a no-score board, because I know we've got Pookie in the door now, but he's literally just in the door. He couldn't have got off to a better start last week. But even with him, I had a feeling that he would be starting on the bench as well, because I didn't think they'd throw him straight into that. But I just think, for me, we've got what we've got now in terms of strike force certainly up until January. And for the Champions League, I'm struggling to see where the goals are going to come from, other than maybe set pieces and things like that, because I just don't think we've got that poacher, goal scorer, dare I say, Gary Hooper type striker, or Finn Bogason type striker that I was hoping we'd get. But anyway, enough about that just now. Pat, give us your thoughts on well, first of all, you said that you were quite confident at the start of the game. How did you see it panning out, and what were your early thoughts and impressions on the actual game, the way it panned out? You there, Pat?
Yep, sorry, Matt. I don't really see much, if any, sort of Italian football, so it's. I guess I was just confident in the fact of what the stuff I'd read, not just so much the injuries and that they had, but certainly the way they were playing. That they seemed like a bit of a no structure. There was no real tactics. They had no they were, I think, struggling across the board. And in truth, I reckon, having read those kind of match previews, I think what we saw was probably accurate. I didn't think they were really that, disciplined and that structured. I mean, defensively, I thought they were pretty good. I think they didn't give us really a sniff, even when we did get the ball in the sort of the wide position and stuff. Although it was a lot of it was down to the play or lack of composure or whatever, but a lot of it was good defending from them as well. I reckon they were positioned really well, and an extra sort of little bit of desperation. You think back to when Brown kind of burst through and De Jong come back, really in a split second and stopped that sort of striking goal. So their desperation was pretty good as well. But it's typical Italian stuff. They're always going to be good in that sort of defensive position. But I think the confidence, and in truth, I probably fell for it as much as even it seems like what Lennon did, and most of the coaching staff there. As the game went on, I was thinking, they're there for the taking. And I think, in truth, I think Lenny thought the same thing, even to the point where he's taken, we're keeping with an offensive sort of mindset, whereas maybe in hindsight, when there's 15 minutes to go, that they take off the attacker and put on a defending sort of midfielder and do it that way. But it's when the glory's there, everyone wants to take it. But sadly, it wasn't to be. But matter of inches, I guess, and it was a different sort of game. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Jim, can we hear you now, mate?
Can you?
There, Jim? Oh, we can, sir.
Okay,
We can.
good stuff. Yeah.
Loud and clear. Jim, I take it you, unlike Martin, saw the game live the other night.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So, Jim, we'll break it down, or I'd like to try and break it down rather than just give a kind of overall. The early, say, the first 15, 20, because you know what it's like. You're always, as a Celtic fan, you're playing a team like Milan on their home patch. You're always a little bit apprehensive. So you're saying to yourself, let's just make sure we've got a clean sheet for the first 5 minutes usually. And then you're seeing how you go on. But I mean, what was going through your mind for that first 15, 20, 25 minutes?
I think like everybody, I guess, the first 15 or 20 minutes, you just hope you're going to get into the game. You're not going to be overrun. It's a time when both teams are testing themselves out a wee bit, and you hope you're going to stand up to what Milan thought of you in that first 15 or 20 minutes to show them that you mean business and you're in the game.
Yeah.
Really thought, I right from the beginning you were looking at it and seeing, I don't know if anybody's seen the Scotland game, but when you had Mulgrew and Brown, the partnership in the Scotland game, they played magic, and they threw them in midfield there instead of Ledley alongside Brown. I thought worked really well. I loved the idea of playing the two right backs and having the wee Welsh guy run up the wing. I thought he had a great game, but for the lack of it, but I just couldn't see him hit any bloody crosses in. Yeah. I really liked the way we played the game, and it's really, really funny. I was just talking to some mates of mine, and it was like, irrespective of the result that happened the other day, it was just like, just seeing how expectant we are that we would go and get. Could easily have picked up a point or two against Milan compared to what we would have been like 2 or 3 years ago. I think it's just indicative of how far Lenny's taking the team. That we do sit here 2 or 3 days later and you can moan about things that we did wrong. Yeah. A couple of years ago you would have been going, no, it was only 2-0, that wasn't bad. Yeah. And I know that they had a lot of their players out, but the players that they bring in, man, like I say, you take one player out of their team and they cost more than their whole team put together. So I think we can all be really proud. It's horrible to be sitting here again and thinking, what if, because we seem to do that most years. But we played genuinely well, wasn't it? I don't think, it was, I know we always talk about hard luck stories with Celtic a lot of times, but we had them under the cosh.
Yeah, we did for the
game.
A lot of the game.
That final ball was just driving me nuts. From anybody, the defence and midfield were running great until we got near that 18-yard box, and I don't know if it was. I wouldn't like to think it was panic, because they're a lot more mature, but for some reason it just wasn't happening, that final ball.
I mean, Martin, okay, we've slagged you a little bit, mate. And you didn't see the game live, but you've managed to see some highlights. And what was your view when you were reading those articles on how we played?
Look, I wasn't actually. I was just looking at big pictures and it was colouring in. All right.
Good
Look,
man.
No, look. To me, there's a couple of things. One, I think they were there for the taking, but they are an absolute quality team. And to be sitting here afterwards going, shit, we could have beaten them, was nice and surprising and everything. It was that final touch-up was the nightmare and just putting the ball in the back of the net. But I think from everything I've read, we've, within, as Pat said, a couple of inches either side, and suddenly we're up on our toes and looking to win it.
Yeah.
And again, we came out and played well. The easiest thing is to go to Milan or, any of the big games, stick 10 men behind the ball and hope to God that you snatch one. We went and played them and played proper football, and that's, what I think, that's everything I've read and all the highlights I've seen. The goals, one dodgy deflection that, that doesn't happen suddenly. We're looking at potentially winning it. And there's also, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think we've never won the first game in the Champions League. I don't think we've ever won that. So I don't know if it's the next hoodoo compared to the away from home hoodoo or the at home hoodoo. But to me, look, I'm much happier than, as I said, going 10 men behind the ball and just hoping to God that we try and sneak a result, to go and actually try and play proper football. So, yeah, that's my general thoughts on it.
Stephen Harvey's just tweeted in to say that he never seen it either, but he doesn't know if he wants to come on now, in case he gets us slagging. No, but the slagging was only for Martin, Stephen. You're welcome to come on.
He's going to get slagging anyway. Irrespective of whether he saw the game or not. So.
Alistair Jack, he's also tweeted in to say, "G'day guys, gutted but still hopeful in the group home games. They're the key." So, I mean, I guess from my point of view, as I think I said before, I was a little bit apprehensive still going into it, even although Milan had a few kind of key players missing. But I still honestly didn't really fancy our chances, and I was hoping the best that we could maybe get was a no-score bore or something like that. But the thing that I'll mention first of all, and it's the thing that I was quite surprised at, and I was quite disappointed at, the amount of comments that I saw from Celtic fans saying "same old story," and I just couldn't understand that point of view at all, because to me, the same old story would have been our backs to the wall for 90 minutes or more, and you come away just, you lose a late goal or something like that, like we did. We lost 2 late goals, of course, but we had been completely dominated. Our goalkeeper is making outstanding saves. I think back to the game a few years back with against Barcelona, when I think it was David Marshall in goals had an outstanding game, and John Kennedy, and as a centre half, had an outstanding game. These are the games that I always think back to when we're playing these, let's face it, massive teams. And it's backs to the wall stuff for the entire game. Now, for people to say same old story, I just couldn't see it at all from start to finish. We were certainly the equal of AC Milan on their own patch, in all aspects except that final third. And I've already said my little piece on that I still don't think, maybe when Pukki gets a few games under his belt, that's going to help, and maybe when Bo Rigter gets a run of games as well, he'll be another option there. But I was a little bit frustrated with Chris Commons, because he's the type of player that I think can be composed, but there were a few instances that I thought he just lost a rag. He would never have done it in a game in a stadium in Scotland, or many other stadiums for that matter. But I think we'd won a free kick very early in the game, and it was the worst fucking free kick the guy's ever taken in his life. He couldn't have hit it any higher into the stands if he'd have tried. And there was another really rash shot he had right at the start of the second half, I remember, that there was a ball played down the inside left kind of channel, and if it fell, it kind of fell into his stride, and instead of taking it, he just lashed at the thing, and it was another shocking effort. And I was disappointed with Commons. I still think overall we had a really good game. Yeah. I thought our defence were outstanding. I thought Big Van Dijk and Ambrose were really, really exceptional at the back. And the thing that impressed me the most about Big Effie was there was several occasions that he took that ball and he strode forward with the thing.
Yeah.
With confidence, but also, he was comfortable in doing it. A lot of the times you see a Celtic defender trying that and your heart's in your mouth, but he did it 3 or 4 times, I think I remember, and I think there was only one time he took it really deep into the Milan half in the second half. And he ran out of a room and they closed him down and he lost possession, but it certainly didn't put the fear of God into you because it was so far up the park. But I just remember thinking, this. I wish he would try that maybe more in the SPL for example, because that would take teams. You're effectively creating another midfielder, and they're not going to have him marked and things like that. But our overall performance the other night, I just thought we were superb in most areas of the park. We showed composure. I've seen a few comments saying we didn't pass the ball well enough. I thought that spells we passed the ball really well. We were actually doing some one-touch stuff at times, and to say it was the same old story, I just could not see that point of view at all. I thought we were superb. One of the best away performances I think we've ever played in the Champions League or in Europe that I've witnessed, for that matter. It's just a pity, obviously, the final result. I think maybe Lennon did get a little bit too cocky. We should have we were at that stage, a 0-0 would have still have been a good result away from home, looking back on it now, obviously. But Lenny's obviously thought they were there for the taking. I honestly don't think making those substitutes made much of a difference, because that first goal would have probably ricocheted its way in anyway. And the second goal, I was a little bit disappointed with. It was a great hit from Balotelli. A little bit disappointed that Forster's maybe not been able to push it around the post rather than push it out into the middle of the goals. But also disappointed the defence didn't really kind of react to that and follow it in quick enough. But overall, I was delighted with that performance, and I hope the players take heart from it and are positive about it. I know I was reading comments from Balotelli about it after it, who's obviously got a soft spot for Celtic anyway. But he's saying, all the Milan players are pretty much realised they got out of jail with that result. And they know they're going to be into a game or in a game when they come to Celtic Park, and hopefully the players do keep their heads held high after that performance, and take that into the Barca game. And let's not forget we've got the league, our own league business we need to take care of as well. So that's my thoughts on it, guys. I suppose for what they're worth. But I don't know. I mean, do you think the players are going to take confidence from the performance, or do you think they're going to take it, as a bit of a downer because they thought they could have won it, and the heads are going to get down? What do you think, Martin? I'll come to you first with that point.
Look, I think to me, see if they I think you just need to look around some of the other results. So you've got Barca putting Real putting 6 past Galatasaray. You've got 4 past Ajax. We weren't humiliated. I'll be honest, certainly a couple of years ago, one of those, you would go into the big European games and it would be, I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want it to be, 5, 6, 7, 8-0. We went out, we had a red hot crack and we played football against them. As I said, the easiest thing, 10 men behind the ball. So I think they're going to take a fair bit of confidence from them. We held our own and we had a red hot crack against them. And again, we didn't. The first goal, shocking deflection, no chance of saving it. So really, if you take that one out, it's down to a 1-goal game. is there for the taking. And I actually think, as I said, from the highlights and everything, I think we were good to have a crack at them because, you know what, let's die, don't die wondering sort of thing. Have a red hot crack. As I said, the easiest thing is for Lennon to stick all those boys behind the ball. So, to me, I think the players will be all right. I think they'll be up for the next game, and we'll just, we'll take it from there sort of thing.
You must be a fan of the Vindaloo curries, Martin, talking about red hot cracks all the time.
No, I'll be honest, mate. I'm more a korma man myself.
Oh, fair play.
Or maybe even an omelette with big fat chips.
I mean, Pat, Martin's mentioned there that obviously they were 2 late goals. Their first goal was a wicked deflection because it was certainly going out, and it took a bad deflection towards goal from Izzy nestled in the net. But of course, just prior to that, we had Anthony Stokes stepping up to smack a free kick off the bar. Now, had that went in, we could have been looking at a completely different outcome at all. I mean, do you think if Stokes' free kick went in, we would have ran out, possibly some may say worthy winners, or would do you think they'd have thrown everything at us and we might have been in the end of a loss anyway?
I think it would possibly potentially a bit of both. I mean, they would have thrown everything at us, whether they actually could have troubled us. I would like to think if we had got that goal, that certainly the defensive instincts of the team would have kind of kicked into gear, and Lennon would have known that that's 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go. You don't keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You take what you've got and try and defend it, especially away in Italy. And that's pretty much what I said at the start, or near the start, was that it's literally a game of inches because firstly Stokes hits the bar, and then secondly, anywhere in Izagiri, if it hit anywhere else, if it was anywhere even right at his body, if it was at his left foot, if it was just to the right of him, if it was just to the left of him, the ball was out for a by kick. It was just, and it's literally, I don't know. I saw a couple of little things about why didn't Izzy get his foot out of the way. I think a defender's natural instinct is to do something. It's just, it wasn't really well hit. It wasn't really like a really, really strong shot. It was just one of those. He's probably a bit knackered. He's been up and down that park all night, and it's been a fairly fatigued effort at just trying to block the ball. But I think it was one of those oh no moments. He just as soon as he hit it, I just went oh no. My wife, I had the whole family up by that stage, and they're just looking at it going, okay, well, that's sickening, absolutely sickening. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a game of inches. I don't. Yep, sorry.
That sort of comment, I think, that's a hero in hindsight comment. Oh, he should have done this. He should have done that. Your natural reaction: stick your foot out, try and stop it. I think it's dead easy to sit in the sidelines and say you shouldn't, but I totally agree. He's going to stick his foot out and try and stop it, and come what may. And that's what he should be doing within reason anyway.
It's a defender's instinct to sort of do that sort of thing. But they all defensively they played well, as Kev was saying. Even coming out of defence, they did well. I mean, you think of Balotelli, had the sort of strike in the first half. Well, I mean, that first 10, was it 10, 15 minutes? Probably, first 15 minutes or so. Maybe even 10 minutes. You just think to yourself, oh God, are we going to be up against it here? That shot came in. And again, same thing. If that was, 6 inches a foot either side of Forster, it was a goal. There's no way anyone was going to be stopping that. But once we got sort of back into the game and more and more into it, it was certainly I guess the confidence kind of grew at that stage, and you were just kind of hoping that they even at that stage, even they hit the bar, it's like maybe it was time to just sort of take more of a defensive stance on it. But in terms of, Pukki got us a free kick, to get, give Stokes that shot at goal, but maybe sort of taking off. I don't know if Commons was the right player to take off. I know he was tired and stuff, but I'm just not convinced he was the right one to take off. I think he was still putting his foot in the ball and doing pretty well. There's maybe a couple of other little candidates that maybe could have, Samaras maybe, I don't know, but even Stokes. So I'm not convinced that Commons was the right decision. That's probably the only criticism I guess you could make of the whole thing for me. Yeah, I don't know. Defensively played well. Midfield played great. There's a couple of little bits, a couple of little bits of selfish play that I thought they could have played the man in a bit better. In fact, I think it was just before their goal. I think even Ambrose, who played really well, and it sounds like I'm being really critical of him, but there was one he was going through, and I think it was Lustig was just to his right,
Yeah.
and a lot of space, and he didn't play it to him. He tried to run through and just ran into a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
And if he'd played it out wide, and I'm sure they went up the park shortly after that and scored. I think they sort of checked back in the game, but I think they scored a minute or two after that. And you think, well, if he'd just done the right thing and played in AFL terms they call it percentage ball, which is get out to the guy wide and try and find an offensive mode from that, then you just never know, something might have happened from it. But I don't know what he was thinking. He just ran into a brick wall, ran into 4 players.
The way some of our crosses were the other night as well, it might not have really resulted in too much anyway, mind you, Pat. But anyway, we've been joined, folks, as well on the call now by Stephen Harvey. He's had his 17 glasses of Buckfast.
No, I'm a classy drinker. I go for El Dorado.
Good on you, Stevie.
How you going?
Yeah, not bad, mate. It's good of you to come on the show. I know a little bit later on we'll ask you to give us a little bit of information about this Aussie gathering of Celtic fans or convention, but I'd like to get your thoughts as well, Stephen, on the overall performance. Did you think it was same old story, or were you happy with the way we played? Not the result, obviously, but what was your own thoughts?
I still think Celtic really lacked belief. Particularly going into these last 10 minutes. I was on Celtic Minded and someone posted, when's the sucker punch going to come? Mm-hmm. And then it's an infinite game, and I just think that we really lack this belief. I was home although last year. I just in their head
I think, Stephen, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit there.
You're breaking up a massive bit.
Oh yeah, it's because I'm out in the garden. Yeah, so I don't.
Well, that's something to do. We get in the house. Jesus, unbelievable.
He's out in the garden at this time of night over there.
Drinking his El Dorado. Jesus, unbelievable.
I think maybe some of the fans maybe lack some belief, because I thought the players. But the one thing I think, honestly, watching that game the other night, is that the players are really, really honed into Europe now. And coming away from the game afterwards, I really feel in myself that we belong there. That is the stage that we belong in. And I know we play in the league that we're in, and we don't have a great deal of competition. But you put us in that European stage now, and we've got a team that doesn't cost anything in comparison to the teams we're up against. But we play as a team, and we play well in that European stage.
I would agree, Jim, and I don't think the players didn't show belief in themselves. Far from it. I think because of the way they came out and the way we played. And there was one point I remember. I think there was 61 minutes gone. I was watching it on ESPN3.com on their live thing, so it was pretty decent quality, but it was the usual. ESPN commentary. Steve Nicol, the old blue nose. He's a blue nose, but to be fair to him, it was actually okay the other night, because I saw his commentary when it was the friendly versus Liverpool. He was showing his true colours that night. But the guy,
guys, am I okay now? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
all right now?
Yeah, we can, Stephen. We can. We'll bring you in shortly.
No worries.
But the main commentator on ESPN in Oz was a guy, Mark Donaldson. Now, Mark's another Scottish fella. He's a jambo, but any time I've heard him commentating on our games, to me, I think he's very fair.
He's all right, isn't he?
He's obviously one of these guys that he'll support the kind of Scottish team in Europe and that kind of thing, and that does come across. But there was a point on, I'm sure it was round about the 60-minute mark, 61 minutes, and it flashed up on the screen the percentage possession.
60-odd%.
And we had 50 at that point. I don't think it was as high as that, Jim. I think it was something like
60.
50.
I thought maybe 56 or something. Then I
think there was definitely one point in the game it was quite high, but at this stage it was something like 51, 52, 53%.
It was 53%. Is it another one?
But it was in our favour. Now again, I was looking at that and I'm thinking. The first thought going through my head is, are you sure AC Milan are the home team here? Because from my experience of watching us in Europe over 30 years or whatever it would be, that is, I've never ever seen that ever. In games that we will dominate a team like AC Milan. Okay, the game against Shakhtar Karagandhi. we wouldn't put that on the same kind of level. But when we're talking about games against Milans of this world, Barca's, Juventus, Man U's, all these, let's call them pot A teams. These are the games that it is always backs to the wall stuff. And here we are, 60 an hour into a game, and we're actually dominating possession away from home. I couldn't believe it.
The thing is as well, it wasn't like you were having. For me, when I was watching the game, it wasn't like I'd pick out about 2 or 3 players who I thought were playing great, and the rest were all gone so. I thought most of the whole team were confident. You were having these. Remember that massive run that Matthews took from one end of the park up to the other. Everyone had another one. Brown was immense, man. The whole team, I thought, were there basically saying, we can play in this, we can have this team. I thought it might go. It was funny. It was just that last bit you said yourself about Commons, about being one of the ones that maybe wasn't as composed as the others, because that was the thing that was just killing me at the end. We were passing it through that team. That team couldn't get near us, and then we would basically stuff it up ourselves with a cross that was to neighboury or the top of them, and that was just the infuriating thing. That bit at the end when we did the 2 substitutions and Lenny was gone for it. I don't know, maybe it was flashbacks to Spartak last year, because they did that in Moscow when we got the goal to equalise. They said, no, we're not going to settle for the draw, we can beat this team. And he pushed on you, and we actually got that final. I think he basically was along this lines, is we're in top here, and we can get one. I don't know if changing the substitutes would have made much difference. I think the 2 goals maybe have happened. If we'd have scored, it might have been a wee bit different, because we might have had more guys behind the ball, so that first goal might not have happened. The only disappointing thing the whole night for me was basically when the defence failed to react to the free kick. And at the end, Van Dijk was only one there with 4 Milan players running about him, and you just seen him look to the other guys to say, where are you? How come only one? And that's the only thing, sometimes it's just at 1 or 2 of the critical moments, especially at set pieces, it's like, you've got to do here. As soon as that ball's hit, you've got to turn around and chase it in case it comes back. And too many of them were just static. It was only one bit in the whole match that I was like, I was a bit upset.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that I guess we dominated on, and if we talk about statistics, was the corner count, which again I feel was something that at stadiums like the San Siro we go to, that we're lucky sometimes if we can scrape a corner. But we won 9 corners to their 6.
Yeah.
Which again, for me, it was just the whole disbelief of the way some fans were saying that it was same old story, glorious defeat again. I mean, Stephen, we'll try you out again, see what your audio's like again now.
I'm in my bedroom now, mate. This is.
Oh, listen, you keep your private details to yourself, mate.
Don't worry,
You're wearing clothes, aren't you?
I'll decline to answer that one. No, I'm good.
But Stephen, we've got the Milan game out of the way, and I think it's fair to say, but I think we're all, if we can summarise, we're fairly happy with the performance, just disappointed with the result. But we've got the Barcelona game is obviously the next one up in the Champions League at Paradise. Now, how do you think we're going to be going into that game? Barca, in my view, are a different kettle of fish from Milan, certainly with the injuries they had. But how do you see Celtic approaching this next massive game against Barca at home?
Oh, mate, well, we've obviously got a lot of confidence after the last time, so we've just got to go for it, really. Celtic are a different kettle of fish at Celtic and at Parkhead rather than away from home, and obviously the fans will be behind them. So just let's go for it. You just never know. I think Ajax is going to be where we're really going to get our points from, but
fingers crossed.
Yeah, but even if we can get a good result, you just never know. I definitely think we'll take Milan at Celtic Park, though. No doubt about it.
If it was the same starting 11, I'd be confident of that. But again, this was a thought that crossed my mind when the game had finished, that we have got to bear in mind they were under strength, and it's still early. Okay, it's early in our season as well, but by the time we come around to playing them again, it's going to. I think there's going to be too many Celtic fans, unfortunately, thinking we just turn up, we play the way we played at the San Siro, and we'll do them. But I think it'll be a different kettle of fish.
in the Champions League, I don't think there's one team that you can say is weak. You know, there's just it's
Totally agree, Stephen.
You know, it's just yeah. I suppose just need to wait and see what happens. You know, I think Lenny's getting a lot smarter now in Europe, but I just think the team lacks that bit of belief. I really do. Away from home anyway, but at Celtic Park we're different class. Let's hope we can. So I just hope we can get a result, and it's on live on council telly here in Australia. So that's good for us.
SBS, is it? Is it an SBS affair?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So that means I can watch it because I don't have Foxtel. I got rid of Foxtel last year.
Oh, Stephen!
Goodness
gracious!
Oh, mate, no, I had it cheap as well. I'd done the old phone to Tanta and told them I was cancelling, and they gave it for $5. But I just wanted rid of Foxtel. I was over it.
Each to their own. Each to their own, mate.
So, but
Marty, can you set your alarm now, mate? Just to make sure you're actually.
Aye, so that's for the 8th of October, aye.
I know is it? I've got that day off as well, so you just never know. Yeah, I might get into the city, but nowhere in Brisbane opens to watch these games in the morning, which is a bit of a bummer. When I lived in Sydney, I used to go in quite a lot and watch the games in the morning, but it just doesn't happen in Brisbane.
So you're in Brizzy because your handle's still Sydney boy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I know, mate. It's funny.
Very confusing, mate.
I know.
Western Australians.
I know. So I moved to Australia 10 years ago. So obviously I was in Sydney first, but I'm just about coming up for my 5-year anniversary in Brisbane as well. Fair. In fact, I moved to Brisbane on the 20th of September. 2008, so it probably is 5 years coming up. Mate. So,
a nice little anniversary. Let's all sing happy birthday. let's not bother.
So yeah, and I know I've actually been thinking about changing it because it's confusing for me as well. Every time I meet people, they're always going, "But you're Sydney boy."
Well, especially if things are getting organised in the Gold Coast as well. It's getting all very confusing for me. Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney.
I know. I suppose it is really. It's on the same continent. So no, it's quite exciting. We really want this to take off again. They're sort of. I don't know if Pat's. I know Pat's definitely aware of the Oz CSE gets-togethers because he's been to a couple. But yeah, I normally work down the Gold Coast, and I was chatting to Chris probably a good few months ago, and we were really jealous of all these guys that went to Las Vegas. Really jealous, and I've always thought that the Gold Coast is a perfect place for one of these get-togethers because it's sunny, you know, there's plenty of bars, and it'd just be a good crack. So Chris, obviously, he lives down there, and he has quite a lot of contacts. So he said, "Let's just do it. Let's go for it." So we're going to give it a bash, see how we go.
So Stephen, give us as much info. So for anybody that's kind of listening, wherever they are in the world, give us a little rundown of what the actual plan is here. Are you trying to emulate a kind of Las Vegas? That's going to take a bit of doing, obviously. What's the actual plan?
Mate, I'll be totally honest. We just get drunk for 3 days, you know. And
well, now that will appeal to many.
I know it actually appeals to me, and we've had a lot of people saying, "No, we don't want to come because there's no events organised." Yeah, you know, and I sort of think, well, I'm quite happy just to sit in a bar for 3 days and talk about Celtic with my mates, you know. And
let's face it, that's kind of what we do on here, except we're not in a bar. It's all just talking about Celtic, but I know I'd certainly be. Mrs. O'Neill doesn't know this yet, but I'd certainly be up for it. I'll need to check that. I need to check the finances, but I'd certainly be up for flying over.
Well, we're hoping that we can get a few. Like I've said before, I think the Gold Coast is just a perfect place for it. You know, because it's obviously it's like a beachside. Yeah. You know, and I've always felt it. We've done, and I think it was 2009. We had a day trip to Surfers Paradise. It was so basically these things have been going since about 2006. We tried to do them every year. But they've sort of died a death the past couple of years, and people are going to Vegas now. There's heaps of Australian folk going to Vegas, so we might try and do them every 2 years. But I definitely don't want to emulate Vegas because that seems like a lot of hard work. You know, that's. I remember I went to the Perth convention in 2008, and that was unbelievable. That was so well done.
Right.
But again, it's just that I just want to have a drink and chat with other Celtic fans, really.
But to be fair, there is a bit of a itinerary, and I've kind of got it here as well. So I can read it out. Or do you know it off by heart, Stephen? I don't want to steal your thunder.
No,
here,
mate. No, by the way, I only seen that. I met Chris in the pub on Wednesday afternoon, and he told me about the website, and I was like, "That's brilliant! Let's get it going. Let's just stick it out there and see what people say." And
yeah.
So you fire away, mate.
Well, the website has been created here. If anybody listening's interested, so whether you're in Australia or whether it doesn't matter where you are, to be honest, have a little look at it. And the Gold Coast, even at that time, I know it's winter time, obviously, when it's going to be over here at that stage, but what's the weather kind of like? And for those people back home, round about June, which is kind of early winter, what's your kind of temperatures like in the Gold Coast at that time of year?
You stick your shorts and t-shirt on. It's that's why I say it's a perfect place for it. Actually, my wife and I, we take the kids down there quite a lot. I'm going back down again next Friday, so we're always going down. We just love it. We think it's a great place. And,
the dates are so it's Friday the 6th to Sunday the 8th of June next year. We're talking about. And basically, the plans are, I'll read this out. Again, the website is www.gcceltic.com. So the GC is obviously for Gold Coast, Celtic.com. So have a little look at the site, and it gives you a bit of an itinerary. But as Stevie says there, it's turn up for a nice bevy and get a load of Celtic fans together.
That's
and have
it, mate.
crack,
Really,
basically.
That's really it. Yeah.
But
I've had a few people say to me, "Oh, it's on the bloody Gold Coast. It's not going to be much fun." You're like, "But you're going to be drinking with Celtic fans, It's brilliant." Yeah, exactly, mate. I tell you, it's just.
What more do you need? Well,
exactly.
on the Friday, it does say for those arriving early, there is possibly some golf at the Gold Coast Country Club. Now, it says numbers are limited, so book early to avoid disappointment. And one of the local boys with an H has arranged a round of golf, which includes your buggy hire. So that's the Friday. The Saturday, the venue is the home of Merrimack Soccer Club, or that's football club, to normal people. At the Gold Coast Italo Club, or is that meant to be Italian club, or is it called Italo? Is that it?
I don't know. I drove past it the other day there. It looked pretty nice, actually.
Some kind of club, anyway.
Yeah. It looks like a big football club, that's for sure.
So the idea for
alcohol.
This, which is always a bonus again. Yeah. There's a common theme here with you, Stephen.
Aye, mate. That's what I'm saying. I just want to catch up with other Tims and really just have a good time.
And get bevied and have a wee sing song, maybe.
Yeah.
Eldorado.
What's that?
And drink Eldorado.
I'll be there.
I might push the boat because somebody up the road from me started selling Buckfast. I noticed.
How much did they sell it for over there?
Mate, I'm not sure actually. We've got the little British chippy just up the road from us. So I was there tonight, and she's trying to say, "Oh, you want this Buckfast stuff?" And I said, "Oh fuck, I can imagine taking that home to my wife." The old vampire juice.
It's all good. I think they do sell it over here in Perth. It's about $25 a bottle, I think. You can get it for.
What?
Yeah.
Apparently so. Big Brian Doherty from the Perth.
Yeah.
Remember, he'd put a picture on some place up in the city that they've got it. So, but anyway, well, as far as the Gold Coast gathering goes on this Saturday, the idea would be if you're not just drinking, huddling, singing, or talking about Celtic, there's possibly a game of soccer that might be on there, a game of football. And if there are enough over 35s, apparently the opposition will be the Gold Coast Loyal Zombies.
Yeah.
So
we need to dig them up first, though. We'll need to get them up nice and early. As soon as the sun comes up, we'll get the spades out and get them up.
So then after the football, and when we have got rid of them, it says, which is quite entertaining, there's a Brizzy band called Tullamore Tree. Now, what are they? Are they a Irish band? Are they just rock music stuff? Or
Nah, I mean,
disco check? What are Tullamore Tree?
Yeah, I've seen them doing the YMCA. Nah, they just do some like Irish ballads, and I think they do the occasional rebel song. I've seen them once, but it was a like one of those. I just remember them being there.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about them.
Did they sing good old Celtic party songs?
Nah. I think they would if you requested it. Put it that way.
Right, okay.
I think you're going to have to find that out, Stevie. I think there's going to be a few people expecting that sort of stuff. But...
Yeah, I mean, but it's not like Glasgow though. You know, these guys make a living from doing the pub scene in South East Queensland. You know,
but that's quite a good thing if it's not like Glasgow, because they might actually be allowed to play a rebel song then, because you're certainly not allowed to do that in Glasgow.
Well, put it this way: if they don't sing it, we'll sing them. You know, I suppose that's just the way we can look at it.
Right, good stuff. So that's the Saturday, and then even on the Sunday, there's an afternoon Broadwater cruise, 4 hours on board a privately hired boat.
Yeah, that'll be magnificent.
Alcohol included in the price, and we can provide our own entertainment as we travel the canals with the backdrop of surfers' paradise. There you go.
Yep, you can vomit over the side. Perfect.
So there you go, that's the info, folks. It's the Gold Coast Celtic Get Together 2014. It's the website's gcceltic.com. Go there and you'll get all that information I've just literally read out.
Yeah, but, we'll try and keep. I've got like a little Oz New Zealand CSC Twitter. I'll post that if you guys could retweet it, and I'll try and put as much information on that. And we've obviously got that Facebook page as well. Yeah, but you guys are all on that anyway.
Yep.
We just like I say, I just want to get drunk with the lads basically.
But Steve, if there's any, because I know there are obviously people come over to visit family from other parts of the world and things like that. But if they are going to happen to be over in that neck of the woods at that time of the year, they'd obviously be keen to attend. So if they want any further information, even from the likes of yourself, what's your Twitter handle for people listening in?
All right, I'm at Sydney Boy. That's me, although it's a bit confusing.
Yeah. So it's Stephen Harvey. He is in Brisbane, but he's at Sydney Boy and that's boy with an H, obviously.
yeah, that would be really confusing then.
They can get in touch with Stephen there as well.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is definitely handling it all down the coast. You know, he's doing a brilliant job. But I think this is the first. Like, I met Chris last year at the Brisbane get together. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but obviously we've been doing it for a few years before that, so I sort of know all the guys to get in touch with. So you know, I missed it last year. It was really quite gutting. But unfortunately, at times my daughter came on in June, and that's why
fortunately, as some would say, Steve, as well.
Well, I tell you, I don't live this one down. Actually, my daughter was born during the Sydney get together, and the next day I jumped on a plane to Sydney and got drunk with the guys. And
wetting the baby's head, mate. Wetting the baby's head.
Well, I said that's what I said to everybody, but my wife's pals don't see the same thing. And they still point at me and call me a bastard. So,
but the truth hurts, but don't worry about it.
Yeah, no,
it's got nothing to do about your piss up in Sydney. But anyway, that's
yeah. No, but yeah, if we could, I really don't know what the sort of numbers will be like, but I just hope it works out. I hope we get a few people interested, particularly guys that haven't been to any of them before, you know. And now with social media, I was saying to someone today that we can put this thing on Facebook, Twitter, you guys can put it on this. You know, we're
That's
talking about
right.
it now. You know, and it's
Yeah, exactly. It's giving people plenty of notice. That's for sure. Anyway.
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely, and that was a deliberate thing too. I was just, like I say,
Yeah.
I met Chris on Wednesday night, and he said, let's just put it out there now, and
Yeah.
although it'll probably die down in the next few weeks, but after Christmas we'll start ramping it up again.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, Kev,
Well, I know
what I should tell people though is that and this is for people, I guess, who are, I guess, genuinely interested in attending. That on the website there's a survey where you can actually fill in your, I guess, it's kind of like an expressions of interest. That you fill in a few details about where you're coming from and that sort of thing, and you know whether you've been interested in going to the golf and all the cruise and all that sort of stuff. So you just
like
fill in
Stevie, just get yourself into a corner in a pub and drink yourself mental.
Well, see,
No,
in
I would
truth, the truth is a lot of people, no, not as a lot. There's some people do want to do that, and this is going by because we started speaking to people in our supporters club about it.
Yeah.
On the game on Saturday night there against Hearts. So, and there is an element of people. There's one or two people want to do that, but see, in truth, the majority don't. The majority of people want to actually go and they want to have.
I'll keep you company, Stevie. I'll keep you company.
Yeah, there'll be a few of us. Trust me.
They want to have the meet and greet. They want to have a game of football just for a laugh, and you know, like I'm don't hide the fact I'm not a big drinker, so I would rather go and do these things and actually meet Celtic fans socially that way. But
well, Pat, there's heaps of things to do in the Gold Coast as well, because obviously it's a tourist hub, so there's heaps of stuff to do. So even if people don't want to drink all day, there's
I think when you tell people, I think it wasn't really a complaint, but I think what some people would think is they don't just want to go and do that. If there's something to do, it gives people an option. So some people will go and sit
absolutely.
But if you've got a game of football going on, you've got a boat cruise, you've got the band and that sort of stuff going on, it just it means there's something for the two sort of
something for everyone.
Yeah, and that's what I was, because I've been saying to Chris, it's like, never mind putting anything on, let's just get drunk for 3 days, But he's been hearing from other people now, they want to do stuff. So
like Pat,
I think that was a brilliant idea that he put on there, put the expressions of interest on, because then if we get people want to go on the cruise, then let's go for the cruise, and the other people might not be keen on the golf, so we'll just can the golf,
I think just from what the guys I've been speaking to, I think if it was just basically sitting in a pub for 3 days getting drunk, I think most people, because we've got loads of people, I've spoken to a fair few people that do want to come.
Yeah.
And this is even through our Facebook group and that sort of thing. And it's just, if you say it's just a piss up, I think you'd find half that number would go. The fact that there's something, there's actually something to do.
We could maybe organise our own one then, Stevie. Just a separate one.
Mate, I tell you, I'd be keen to, I'd definitely go and watch the football, or probably play in the football, and I'd definitely go in the boat thing, absolutely. Because these are brilliant crack, but I suppose what I'm trying to say is I just want to get Celtic fans together.
Yeah,
and
exactly. That's the key thing, isn't it?
And because Australia's where the big migration is now. It's like that's why Celtic have been coming here in the past few years. I don't think we'll see them for a while, mind you, but obviously this is where all the young people are moving to. So there's heaps of Celtic fans here. So
and Kev, I've got to ask this. Is it Marty Corney, is it, from your club, is it? He's asking if there's a bus going from the Mandurah CSC.
There could well be, Marty.
I'd probably end
you
up
might, you might be driving it though, mate. You might be driving it.
For anyone who doesn't for anyone who doesn't get that gag, is Mandurah is probably as far away as you could probably get from the Gold Coast. So
enough,
but
I'd probably end up in that bus going back.
You'd be more than welcome, Stevie. You'd be more than welcome to join us.
But I say, we just really get the expressions of interest. Really, we just want. I just want to have some fun, really, with Celtic fans, and I definitely love a game against the Zombies. That would be brilliant.
Right, so I guess
I reckon it'd be pretty brutal, mind you.
So I guess let's try and sort of wind it up then, just summarise what's going on. So basically it's a long weekend, so there's a long weekend in Australia, right? So not for every state, but for most states, eastern states anyway.
But there's enough notice.
And the irony, boys, stop. The irony of it is it's the Queen's birthday long weekend, right? So this is now this has just come into my head that we really have to have a name, not the gathering, not a get together. We need a name. So if anyone can think up of a weird and wacky name for this gathering, then I think you should let us know. And Stephen,
Pat, it's always been the get together though, you know. And I think that's what we've called it right from the very beginning, the Oz New Zealand get together.
Well, I think Stephen's going to provide a prize. So
where's my bottle of Eldorado?
A bottle of Eldorado for the winners of
Full
that.
bottle of
so anyway,
Eldorado, Stevie.
Oh no.
So again, we don't want to let it drag on. So basically, what it is on the Friday there's a meet and greet sort of day. If anyone can get there on the Friday, there's a round of golf. If you're interested in that. On the Saturday, there's again pretty much the day continues. There's a live football game during the day. There's a live band at night. Which again is going to be, I guess, a bit of a function for everyone to get together and have a few beers and stuff. Some people might head home on the Sunday, but for those who hang around for the long weekend, there's a cruise on the Sunday, I guess it's Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Probably something will continue on after that. But
yeah, definitely.
In addition to that, there's, I know I haven't spoken to Chris a couple of times about it, they're trying to work out various kind of accommodation for people as well. And we're also, today I started doing making a bit of contact with the airlines as well, because for example, if you end up getting 20 people from Melbourne, you can get sort of group bookings and get a little bit of a discount and that sort of stuff as well. So because one other thing is,
Pat, sorry, remember you can fly into Brisbane or Coolangatta. You know, Coolangatta is obviously that little bit closer, but if it's cheaper going to Brisbane, I'm pretty sure they do shuttle buses down.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was what we're looking at today. Is, you know, obviously Melbourne and Sydney can fly straight to Gold Coast. Adelaide, I don't think do. I think Adelaide you'd have to fly to Brisbane or have to do a bit of a stopover somewhere. And Perth,
we need to go via Bali.
Be a New Zealand or something. So yeah,
that's
anyway,
just a staple thing when you're in Perth.
Don't take any boogie boards for you.
That's such an Australian gag. That's going to be right over the head of every single person overseas. So anyway, that's kind of a summary of what's happening. Anyone who's interested, get in touch with the guys. I'm sure there'll be Twitter accounts and all that sort of stuff getting set up. Hint, hint. Stephen.
Yeah, but we've got that Oz New Zealand CSC.
That doesn't count.
I've sort of shut it down.
Doesn't count. We want funny names. We want names for this event, this function. So.
All right, I'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah,
I'll have a chat with Chris. What's that, mate?
So, just the Eldorado, the Union Party. You're always trying to get Heineken to sponsor your show.
That's true.
Yeah.
Kev, what's happened to this?
I've not mentioned Heineken again yet, but I'm just. I was actually going to try to keep you guys talking while I nick to the fridge for another. But I do have my Heineken beside me tonight. I'm just going to take another sip
Yeah.
But anyway, right. So that's good. I think that's quite a decent plug we've given it.
Oh, mate, yeah, it's fantastic.
That's
never happened before. You know, we've never had this sort of. As soon as we started talking about it, we mentioned Pat. You know, saying let's get Pat to plug this and see what we can do. And
so you're using me? That's fine. No, that's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah. No, we'll start using Kevin now.
No, it's all good.
Obviously, I meet up with Chris. I work down the coast probably once a month, so I try and catch up with him. And we'll, obviously, things might change. It just really depends on the numbers.
Yeah.
And
Chris is he's put something on Twitter to say that they do sing. This is Tullamore Tree, the band we were talking about.
Yeah.
They do sing The Fields of Athenry, Fairy Tale of New York, and the Black Velvet Band, that old classic. So that's a little taster of what they sing anyway. So
there's actually a video on YouTube of the guy singing at Celtic Park. So. He's singing the Fields of Athenry at Celtic Park. It's Scruffy from Tullamore Tree if you want to have a look for it. So it just is. It's just it'll hopefully be a great weekend, you know.
Well, best of luck with it. We've obviously we've got Marty Corley from the Mandara CSC listening in, and I'm sure, knowing Marty the way I know Marty, he's already making plans with his better half to maybe have a little weekend over on the Gold Coast. So Marty, if you're listening in, pal, I'll speak to you about this over the weekend probably, mate.
Pat, Brian Kenny's booked his flights already, I've seen.
Oh, there you go.
Why are we surprised at that?
And I've already told my wife that I'm disappearing for a few days. So So all I have to do is just leave her some money for shopping, and she'll be quite happy with that.
Well, best of luck with it anyway, Stephen. Hopefully it is the start. So I know these things have went on. I've unfortunately not been out in Oz long enough to have been to any of these kind of formal gatherings. I know when Celtic were over a couple of years ago, I was up in Geraldton at the time, but came down to Perth for the Perth Glory game. And that was a brilliant, albeit it was only a one-day thing. It was just a great. We made a bit of a weekend of it anyway, coming down from Geraldton, but it was just a superb time. And just what you're saying as well, Stevie, it's all about when you're over this side of the world, you're half the world away. It is just great being able to speak to Celtic fans. It's something we've all got in common. You can bump into somebody, you've never met them before, you've never spoken to them before, but it's this common thing.
Yeah,
and we're all on the same page. And it's great to think there's going to be another organised event that's going to try to get us all together and just have the crack. And as Pat says, if we want to do other things, we can do other things. But if we want to have a few Guinness, have a few Eldorados, or have a few Buckies, or whatever it may be, we can do that as well and just have the crack, basically. It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, and like I say, I think the Gold Coast is just the perfect place to attract people, because it has got that touristy sort of feel about it.
Yep. Like Blackpool.
Yeah, exactly. They call it Blackpool on
Benidorm.
It really is. That's it. Really is. I've heard it described all those things. Blackpool, Benidorm, and but there's also a little quiet spots as well.
Slightly better weather than Blackpool.
Aye, definitely, mate. Definitely.
I'm up there in 5 weeks.
There's the best kebab shop in Australia, I reckon, at Surfers Paradise. I've sampled it a few times, and I wholeheartedly recommend it. It's on the beach, just at the Surfers Paradise thing, if anyone's there. Guys, definitely. Let's get it going.
Sounds good. Right, okay, folks, we'll kind of move it on, and we probably won't keep the show going for too much longer, but this is maybe a bit of we're finishing a low point now, but it seems to be. We've talked about the Champions League, we've talked about the event in June next year over on the Gold Coast. Now we'll talk about our massive game at the weekend, preview against the Saints of Johnstown at Celtic Park tomorrow. Now, the kick-off in that game's 3 o'clock Celtic Park time. So obviously it's a little bit of a later game over here for us on Saturday. But what's going to happen in that game, boys? Let's just throw it open. Jim Kinlan will come to you first. So, can you get yourself up for that game, mate? Are you going to be glued to your seat? I don't think it's on Setanta or anything over here.
No. Well, I usually have Everton bases covered. I know it'll be on Celtic TV, so if that's the worst case, I'll watch it on that.
Yeah.
Look, I suppose the only feeling that a lot of people would have is, you just hope this letdown that happened all the time last year after the Champions League game doesn't manifest this time. Mm-hmm. You drop your guard. I don't think it will, because we've still got a lot of new players that are just coming into the team and want to cement their place. Mm-hmm. And although we might have lost a lot of, obviously some big members of our squad last year, we've got a lot of new ones that have came in and still looking to get a place in the team. I mean, I reckon Pookie will probably get game time, and obviously, and there'll be an Israeli boy who was in the squad but never played all night. Oh, he came on for the last few minutes.
Yeah.
But, I just hope there's no hangover. I don't think there will be. I really don't. I don't think both the players, when they do it to themselves, and I don't think Lenny will be right up to make sure nothing doesn't happen like it did last year. I expect it to be a party. I really do. You don't want to come out with outlandish statements, but I'm hoping that we've got the firepower. I mean, we've still been hitting the ball in the net with Hooper and Commons. With Hooper, but Stokes and Commons, and just see how Pookie goes. But I hope we could put about 3 in or something like that and have just a great party after from midweek.
Mm-hmm. So are you going for a 3-0, Jim?
I think 3-0. I think that's what I'd put. If I'm going to go and put a bet on, I'll put it on 3-0.
Fair play. Martin, I'll come to you next. St Johnstone game. Jim mentioned there that Beaton, the Israeli boy that came on just for a couple of minutes towards the end. You think he'll get a run out or a start to introduce him to the Celtic fans? It's a home game, obviously, tomorrow. Or is he going to go with a similar kind of lineup to the other night?
I think Lenny will change it up a wee bit. I think he'll get a run. I think Pookie may start as well. Look, I think we're going to hump them. I think we're going to put score past them.
27-0.
No, I think we are. Look, one of the things that I've thought of, and it's for the rest of Scottish football. Nobody seems to be putting in decent money to their squad to try and take us on this year. And us in the Champions League, we're going to be playing. We play the qualifiers. We then play 6 games in it. So if you take the Saturday either side or the Sunday either side, there's a lot of games that we could have Champions League hangovers for. But it doesn't seem to be MD making hay while the sun shined and giving us a red hot crack that try to take us on. But I do think they're there. St Johnstone will hump them. That's why I'm putting out a 4-0.
A 4-0
minimum.
Okay. Pat, what about yourself? Is there going to be a Champions League hangover, or are we going to do them?
Nah, we shouldn't be losing any way, shape or form to St Johnstone. Sorry, the past few games. Look, I do watch a fair bit of Scottish football, and they haven't really been up to much. Although they've got a fairly half decent goal scorer, and that guy Stevie May. I don't know if any of you have seen sort of him playing recently, but the truth, not a bad goal scorer, but he has the most ridiculous Michael Bolton hairstyle you'll ever see. It's just ridiculous. If you haven't seen it before, just wait until you see the game. It's just ridiculous, mate. Just shave it off or do something with it. It's just horrible.
So
but
is his hairstyle going to cause us problems?
His goal scoring might. As I said, he doesn't look the sort. It's really hard to explain, but he doesn't look like your natural sort of out and out attacker. But like I've seen him knock away a few goals in recent times. So I think he scored. Last week. It was St Mirren, not St Mirren. It was Hibs. Hibs beat them.
Hibs. They get beat at home 2-1 by Hibs last week, I believe.
But I think I'm sure he scored in that game as well. So he's not a bad wee player. But St Johnstone at home. I'd probably agree with most guys. It should be a bit of a smacking. I do. Speaking about the Beaton, I think that's. I'm actually really glad to see him come in the game, but I think the other night was just obviously come in with 2 minutes to go. It was just a case of let's get you in the game, just have a look and a feel what the Champions League is all about. I just got a feeling they've got expectations with this guy. But from a negative perspective, it puts our good mate Tom Rogic away down the list again. So not sure what's happening with young Tommy Boy, but if you've got even this Beaton, who I think from memory joined the squad on the day of the game. I think he actually arrived in Milan the day of the game, and he gets a 2-minute run out. And guys like Rogic are nowhere to be seen. I don't know who's on the bench or not, to be honest with you. But when you get that sort of thing happening, I think he's got to pull his socks up a little bit.
I think Rogic, Beaton's definitely one of those signings that's meant to be straight in. He's certainly not a squad signing, but I think Beaton's a guy that's been signed to start in that team and effectively be your Wanyama replacement. So I wouldn't say it's just even Rogic that should be worried. I think even likes a Ledley could potentially be getting pushed out. Kayal could potentially be getting pushed out. We've got quite a few handy players in midfield now, but I would agree. I think poor Rogic is going to get pushed further down that pecking order just now. But
he was on. I don't know if people saw. I tweeted a couple of things of him just prior to the game against Brazil. Australia played Brazil, and
get humped.
Yeah, and get absolutely smacked 6-0, and it was a real smack. And I saw a little bit of it, and it was embarrassing actually. But and he again same sort of thing. He was talking a really good game. Oh, this is my year. I'm going to be doing all these sort of exciting things. My club's playing the Champions League, and my country's playing in the World Cup at the end of the year. And it's like, mate, if you ain't playing for Celtic by the end of the season, you've got no chance. Simple as that. And it's I think he's trying to make out his incentive for to work harder. So I don't know what, in terms of what the coaching staff think of him, whether he's definitely got a few flaws in his game. I think he's a really good player offensively. I think defensively he's a bit lacking a little And then I think even for his physical size, he's not as imposing in the air as probably he should be or could be. And I don't know if that's holding it against him. I'd like the attacking that he does, but the lumbering back when he loses the ball, in truth, gets on my wick a little bit. You want someone busting their arse to get back and get on a defensive side. He doesn't seem to do that. So I think that's why when Beaton came in, the bits I've seen of him, he's one of those sort of guys. I think he's a defensive midfielder, gets up the park, but he seems to be some guy like that. Set a second effort looks quite impressive. He loses it, he's going to try his darnest to get it back. You know what I mean? So, and I don't think Rogic has got that in his sort of ammunition at the moment, but. I guess time will tell.
Oh yeah. He's still. I mean, he is still young, and I think he came into the game even in Australia fairly late as well. I think he's had a massively quick, spring to the fore sort of thing. So I think the guy's he's on a bit of a whirlwind just now, and he's still got a lot of learning to do. He's a bit green, the guy, which is the right colour if you're playing for Celtic.
I think I could see Celtic putting him out on loan actually.
That's what I was actually.
Eventually, yeah.
If he's not playing by Christmas, I would stick him out on loan somewhere, get him to get some first team football, and then we can make a proper call whether he's
if he's going to make it or not.
And if he's not going to make it, look, if he's not going to make it, move him on so that one, he gets off the wage bill, but two, he then has a chance to go somewhere else, get to the quality, and then maybe come back and maybe put him out for a year somewhere. But I'd be sticking him on loan and being, fair enough with the boy to say to him, look, you need some more first team experience, sort of thing.
It's maybe an option.
In Scotland, though, would you farm him out to a team in Scotland?
I'd potentially do it what I'd maybe do is stick him down to is it first division below us?
Kev knows the names. Kev knows all the good things. Give us a name out, Kev.
I think you call it the Scottish ex-Premier Campionato Ligos Uno.
Send him to Sevco.
I think that's what you call it. I think that's what you call the old first division.
We don't want him dropping that low to go to Sevco. No, look, I'd stick him in a first division or the league below us, and just have him trying there or somewhere else. I don't care so that he deals with the cut and thrust of Scottish football. You don't want him going somewhere playing wonderful, lots of time on the ball, and not toughening up a wee bit.
I think he'll get plenty. I think he'll get game time before Christmas, because knowing Christmas, it's when we need the squad. When we've got midweek matches and games at the weekend, and they come one after each other pretty quick now. I think that's when he'll be used between now and Christmas as a squad player. And if he can break into the squad and show himself in some of the games, I think he'll be around. If it doesn't happen to him between now and Christmas, then maybe in the January you could maybe see him going somewhere else. But I think he'll get his opportunities in the next couple of months because of the 2 games a week scenario.
Aye.
Well, Pat, give us your finally give us your prediction on the St Johnstone scoreline. Then, what do you think?
All right, I'm going to take a punt that St Johnstone will nick a goal at some stage in the game. I'm going to go for 4-1.
Okay, so we've had 3-0, we've had 4-0 at least, and we've had a 4-1. Stevie, what do you think yourself, based on everything that's been said?
I'm going to go. I sort of agree with everything the guys have said, but 3-0 for me as well.
Oh,
good man, Stevie.
Yeah, I'll have to admit, guys, I think 3-0 sounds about right to me as well. I don't think St Johnstone will score because we've got. I honestly see this partnership that's developing between Van Dijk and Effie. I'm looking forward to it actually as the season goes on, because Big Van Dijk, I think he was caught a little bit cold in the Shakhtar Karagandhi game. He looked just a little bit off the pace maybe in that game, but there was signs the other night against Milan and signs in the Premier League, the Scottish Premier Campionato SPFL League, and again he just looks composed. There was a time he had the ball he was trying to bring it out of the fence the other night towards the left-hand side, and he's ushering Izzy to kind of move up alongside him so he can, just little things like that. And again, Jim, you mentioned it earlier on, how he was, you could physically see how annoyed and disappointed he was with the defence that they never followed that ball in from the free kick. you know, he turns round and he's gesticulating and all the rest of it. He looks like a leader.
That's
I know he got into the Eredivisie Team of the Year last season, and I think we're starting to see some signs as to why that was the case. He was picked as one of the 2 centre halves for that Team of the Year for the Dutch League. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how his partnership develops with Big Effie. And I must admit, I thought when Effie first came to us, I thought he settled in really well, and he did really well. And then, of course, he had the African Cup of Nations, and his form took a dip, quite a prolonged dip after that. But I think he started the season really well. I think he's had a couple of great games recently, and I thought again he was outstanding the other night. So I don't think St Johnstone are going to have anything to trouble our defence tomorrow. Big Lustig's really coming onto a game as well, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite good to see. I think it was mentioned earlier on how Lustig seems to be settling into that right back slot, but it's actually given an opportunity for Matthews to play that wee bit further forward in midfield, which is it's good to be able to accommodate those two players, because I rate the two of them. And Izzy seems to be coming back onto a bit of a game as well. So I think our defence is looking really good. So yeah, I'm going for a 3-0, guys. I don't know, maybe Pookie will get a couple, Stokes will get one. But
he's playing really well, isn't he? Stokes is doing brilliant just now.
He is, to be fair, yeah. I still think he did quite well the other night, even although I think there was a few people slagging him. And there was a few people I've seen saying, you know, he can't hack it on the big stage. But Stokes is not a bad player.
Yeah.
And it will come. I think he just needs, again, I always keep reverting back to it, a Gary Hooper type striker alongside him. That's something, and I don't know if Pookie's going to be that. From what I've seen so far, Pookie doesn't, to me, strike me as being that out and out penalty box poacher type striker that's always in the right place at the right time. Albeit he certainly was for that header that Stokes had put on a plate for him against Hearts last week. But time will tell, guys. Time will tell.
Yeah.
I see Stokes using this as an opportunity to just, that's it. He's in the squad totally, and he is the number one striker for the club. Mm-hmm. I don't think he is a hooper or a poacher type thing, but I see him by the scruff of the neck and it being right. This is me. I'm the man.
He's at a contract soon, isn't he? Is it? I've heard a few people saying
he's got to sign one now, aye. That's
right. Which is another thing. If it gets to January, then he's pretty much open to offers for other clubs. So,
but I think the club's made him a decent offer. So, you know, I don't think the club can do any more.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Sorry, Jim, when you go.
I was just going to say, it's funny that a couple of weeks ago, season's just started, and we were all talking about, we've lost the spine of the team, and we've made these signings, but we don't think they're going to be good enough to fill what we've lost. And it's a couple of weeks later, and Van Dijk now seems to be settled. The defence looks magic. I think dead right what you said, Kev. I can see him marshalling that team, and he's pulling Ambrose through a game, but I think he's pulling the whole defence through the game. Just what we've done the other night there as well. I love Matthews. It was great to get him in the team, just putting him up, into the midfield a bit like an old right half, and it's that partnership with Mulgrew and Brown in the middle. I know Wanyama's gone, but I think the team's looking really good just now. Again, it just wait and see how we go with Pookie and see how Balde comes on and stuff like that. But for the midfield and defence, I'm really looking forward to this season now.
It's encouraging stuff. But again, playing guys like Mulgrew in midfield, and by all accounts, he got man of the match, I believe, in the Scotland game.
He did.
But I mean, for a guy like Mulgrew, I mean, we know he can play centre half. We know he can play left back. We know he can play in the left side of midfield, and potentially now he could pop up in maybe the left side, the left side of the centre two in the middle as well. It's great to have those options. And again, if we can utilise the likes of Matthews on the right hand side of midfield as well as a right back. And he's filled in at left back as well, of course, with Matthews. So it's great to have players that can play in so many different
maybe it's
positions.
just the options, because you've got, two of the players. I know Ledley's maybe nobody done saw him the last couple of weeks, but he's had this groin injury. But when you've got people like Matthews out and Forrest out, and you've got to shuffle it around a wee bit, and what we've shuffled around looked magic. So it is. It's just like good to see the other options work.
That's all good. Now we're going to move on again, and we'll try to wrap this up shortly. But Martin, just before the show started, you said that you had a very controversial topic that you were wanting to throw out. Now you were going to tell me and Pat, but then I said, no, wait a minute, just leave it as a surprise then if it's controversial. So this is your moment, mate. We're going to call this Kelly's controversial question. This is the segment. So Martin, on you go. What is your controversial question or your controversial point?
I've got, well, my point is, right,
I hope you're ready for this, boys.
I hope you're all. You better be.
I'm hanging up.
On recently, games we've had all the flares going off, and I don't get that. But there's now been the bangers getting thrown, right? Which I think.
Not worse than throwing bangers.
No, this is the exploding type bangers. I think we all agree it's a dodgy thing and it's stupid inside the ground. And to be honest, it's virtually throwing an explosive in the ground. I have a question, but for you boys. You're standing at the ground, a wee Ned throws one, comes down and says, "Who threw that? Do you grass him up?"
Right, who are you putting it to first?
Well, all right, you, Kev.
Right,
Aye,
okay.
that'll teach you.
It's not often I have to go first with these things. Do I grass him up? Now, it would need to depend how much this wee get annoyed me during the course of the game. If it was a little annoyance, I probably would. There you are, that's it, straight to the point. Yeah, if he was just a reasonable little dude and he didn't annoy me, I would keep the head down probably.
All right, what if
if it was a little annoying shit, I would grass him up. What
if you had Wayne's with you? Because the boys
I'm trying to picture this scenario in my head now here, Martin. Where's he throwing the banger? Right next to my Wayne's?
The comments, if you've listened to Homeboys, there was a boy on the weekend.
I know, that was bad.
Literally burnt his leg and everything. And
God, right.
If I had my Wayne's with me, I'd have rattled him. And I was taking it to another step. Copper says, "Who was it? Do you grass him?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole load of factors in it, and yeah, I mean, if it's dangerous and it's some clown carrying on, yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to grass him. Celtic fan or not a Celtic fan, if you're an arsehole, you're an arsehole.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't hesitate if that's the case. But yeah, I know there's a lot of this stuff goes on now about the pyro and all the rest of it. Frankly, it's a great spectacle when you see it, and you used to see it. Remember the old European matches you'd see if you were old enough. You'd see them in the 80s all over, and you'd always see these kind of flares and things getting held up at games. But the banger stuff is going down a different route as well now, and it's not really necessary. It's not necessary, and if it can cause injury or it causes aggro, then there's no point to it whatsoever.
Like, my general thought is that I don't see the point of it, right? I don't get the flares going off, and realistically, it is an explosive you're fucking around with in the middle of a crowded area, and especially throwing the bangers. But I'll ask the other boys, what do you think? Remember, we've all grown up. You would never.
I'm free Pollock, so I'd probably fire the banger through somebody's letterbox, so, or tie it to a cat or a dog or something like that. So, listen, I definitely don't think these things should be at the games. You know, it just brings bad press to us, really. Mm-hmm. You know, but especially if you've got young kids chucking these things around, it's neat. No, I'd probably grass them in. Yeah, there you go. I'd break the Pollock code.
Like, you're not going to be allowed back to Pollock.
That's a good thing, mate.
Pat, what about you?
It probably would depend if I was without kids at that point. If I was with my kids, like any natural parent, you'd do anything you can to protect them and stuff. So I'd certainly be having a crack at them for putting them in any sort of danger. But if I was on my own, saying truth, having seen some stuff at games, I'm not actually sure I would actually say anything. because you don't know who he's with. If you see some wee guy behind you throwing this banger, and policeman walks down, and you go, right, that was a wee dickhead that done it. You just don't know what these, he might be there with 20 mates. You know what I mean? Who's just hanging around waiting for you after the game. And I've seen this sort of stuff happen here. You just it takes one stupid mistake, one stupid accident, one punch in the face, and there's been things that people here just, you're talking people basically king hit and falling and hitting their head off the ground and dying. And in truth, with kids these days as a father, I don't want involved in that sort of stuff. I'm too old for it. Don't care. So so I'd probably do it in two ways. If my kids were there, who are 3 and 6 years old, I'd certainly be saying something to the kid.
I hope that was somebody pouring a drink there, not having a piss.
Oh, that was me. Yeah, I went to the fridge.
Oh, thank God they said fridge. Thank God they said fridge. Jesus.
I hope it is Heineken you're drinking, Stevie.
No, mate, it's not. I've got some Pinot, some shit wine. It's my wife's.
It's not El Dorado.
No. I'm going camping tomorrow, so I've put all my beer in the fridge. So I've been drinking my wife's alcohol.
There's a certain theme with you, Stevie boy. But anyway,
no, mate. No, honestly, I'm not. It's I don't know.
No,
why.
you are. Yeah, you are. Like, let's face it, you are. Anyway, moving on. Who you thought you asked? Jim.
Still to get Jim's view.
Yeah.
I heard about this thing on the Homeboys as well. Like I said, the banger was thrown at somebody, hit him on his leg, put a hole in his trousers and burnt his leg. So it wasn't just a kiddie on me thing. See, that's mad dangerous. I mean, you don't... how would I react? Well, first of all, what I think about it is, how can you throw a banger into a crowd of fans, of your own fans? It doesn't matter actually whose fans it is. You're throwing it in a confined area full of space. You're going to damage somebody bad. I'd probably get killed myself because I think my temper would turn around and want to just deck the guy. And if he had 20 people, then he'd jump and trap me. But for me, there's no place for bangers at a football match. The players thing I can go along with. I don't mind
steady on now, Jim.
Oh man, I would go ballistic if that happened to me.
And who's
ballistic?
Players
Ballistic, there you go. I like it.
We're trying to encourage more females to come to the games. There's always room in football for bangers, mate.
If a banger landed
it's a different type.
Banger landed in blew up my... I would grab my head. I would go bananas. Yeah.
Right,
there you go, Martin. There's your controversial question.
I expected a lot more, wouldn't he, grass or anything, but well.
I don't know if it's grass. Well, if the police were there and we're going to get involved with me and see me turning to deck the guy, I probably wouldn't have much choice. But I'd be more akin to try and kill him and fuck myself.
Oh, well, fair enough.
We're all going to grass them up, Martin. We'll now call this lot Kelly's uncontroversial questions.
I was expecting there's no way you can grass that against the law. There's no way. Well, obviously we've all become sensible.
I don't think I would grass him. Like I said, I'd probably try and just deck it myself, and I'd probably get into trouble. And I'd only grasp if the police was coming out to lift me, and I'd tell them what he'd done.
Right, guys, I'm going to try to wrap the show up. We're getting a wee bit of feedback here. I don't know, is it just me or is it happening for everybody else?
It might be coming from Jim. I'm not too sure, but
I can get it. I can get it all.
We'll try to wrap up anyway, but as usual, I'll just go around the houses, and this is your little chance to give a shout out to anybody, or tell us what's going on in your part of Oz. Jim, I'll start with you first. On you go, mate.
Just in my brother Kev in Denmark. I woke up this morning downstairs, letterbox, 4 Celtic DVDs they sent me from Denmark.
Nice.
So I think we pressed.
See, when you said Celtic DVDs, do you mean other DVDs for Denmark?
Nah, Celtic DVDs.
Jim, I'll chat to you afterwards.
He just writes Celtic on them so that
He was back in Glasgow on holiday last month. He went and got some stuff at the Celtic shop for us and just sent it.
Aye, Jim, you justify you're getting dodgy DVDs through the post any way you want, mate. We're not here to judge you.
That's good.
What's your
private message you.
What's your brother's name?
Kevin.
His name's Kevin, or are you just saying Kevin?
The same as yours.
Right, good. Kevin Kinlan.
Aye.
All good. Stephen, what about yourself? Any shout-outs, or you've
Mate,
had a great plug earlier on. You had a brilliant plug earlier.
I'm a bit of a miserable bastard, so I'll just say hello. I'll just say hello to myself, really, and I'll say hello to. I'll say thank you to my wife Vicky for letting me drink their wine tonight.
Nice touch, Vicky. A nice touch by Vicky. Martin, what about your good self, mate?
Actually,
Any
the only
shout-outs or anything going on in your part of Melbourne?
Nah, nothing's going on in my part of Melbourne, but I'd like to do a shout out to a guy called Neil in Glasgow, and took me to my first match. And Neil's into his 90s now, and I'm certain he's not listening to this because I don't even know if he's got a video, certainly not a computer to listen to a podcast. But I just like to acknowledge that a big thank you to Neil in Glasgow for taking me to my first game and getting me fully involved with Celtic. So, aye.
There you are. So anybody back in Glasgow that knows a guy called Neil that's about 90, try to get him onto Spreaker and he can listen back to this podcast later on. He'll hear Martin's shout out for him. Right, Pat, my good friend. Pat, you had a wee bit of bother before the show. Tell us about that before I ask you to do your wee shout outs, mate, because we were half an hour late coming on. What happened? I was panicking about you, mate. I was worried about you.
He was texting me and everything. Are you alright? Is everything alright? No, we had a 3-year-old who decided to have an absolute meltdown as he was going to bed, which was quite hilarious. There's no way I could have done anything, through Spreaker. It was just a nightmare. So it was, so I just gave up on that. Like, we're going to be late. So some of these if you guys, is anyone on speakers there at the moment? Because we're getting a hell of a lot of echo. I think it might come from Martin Kelly. Come to think of it.
What?
I think there's a lot of echo coming from your line, I reckon.
Okay.
If you got, yeah, it's kind of annoying me because it's in both headsets here. Jockey and Celtic Supporters Club. Anyone that's in the Melbourne area, GSCSC Melbourne on Twitter. Also, shout out to the guys back in Airdrie. All the support, a couple of new supporters clubs sort of fired up in Airdrie as well. As the Neil Lennon one there. There's also my old bus, old Gorman's bus as well. I think it's still going strong. So I was getting messages from my mates. A couple of games a couple of weeks ago. So hello to all them. Again, everyone who's probably listening to this has probably heard Homeboys once or twice in the recent past, but there's a Paul Larkin book that's coming out as well. Sounds very, very interesting. So I think there's a fair bit of interest in that. So keep your eyes tuned for that. So I'm not sure the exact date. Can you remember, Kev? Anybody? The release date? I think it's.
I'm not sure, but I've seen some I've seen some tweets about it and all the rest of it, but I don't know the exact date.
Yeah, looks very interesting. So I'm not much of a reader myself, I've got to say. I'm more of a sort of listen to audiobooks and podcasts and that sort of stuff. But it's certainly one I'm going to be.
Because you can't read, Pat. Airdrie man, Airdrie boy.
Says the boy who went to St Pat's. Anyway, never mind. So yes, that's pretty much it. I think anybody who's around the world listening to this afterwards, give us a little tweet, let us know, give us some feedback. You've got the Twitter handle was obviously at halftheworld88. We've got halftheworld88 at gmail.com if you want to drop us an email. Anybody that wants to get involved, have a shout out. Again, just thanks to the normal guys that's sort of called in, tweeted in. Chris McMonagle's pretty much.
We'll get Chris on soon, He was a bit shy.
Chris shy.
Chris has been on before.
I know. I heard him. But he was texting me saying, "Why are you not going on?
He's exceptionally eloquent, as Chris.
He is. He's a lovely man.
Yep. Well, I had to chat to him.
He bought me a couple of Cokes actually the other day at the pub because I was on call on Wednesday, so I couldn't drink. So he bought me Cokes. So there's a shout out. Thank you, Chris, for buying me my Cokes.
For buying his Coke. So thanks, Chris, for buying Stevie some Coke. And just anybody who's listening to this, obviously you'd know the other podcasts. There's Homeboys, which is still my favourite one. There's Beyond the Waves. There's The Lost Boys. I haven't heard from Chris about the history one recently, but you've got Rebel Podcast. I've just tweeted that their latest podcast's up.
I enjoy that Desert Island Tim's.
Desert Island Tim's, yep.
I really like that one.
Oh, did you hear the Frank McAvenny one? Oh, good lord! Seriously, it was funny, but what?
His music,
Savage Garden and stuff, and all that dance. Oh Jesus, he was all over the place.
No. There was that. I tell you, that was pure. I want to find a woman. So I'm putting out music that women may like, and I like the one of I'm getting my chest whacked because there's 300 women in the room, and I need to be in a shout with some of them.
I liked about how do you relax? It's, I like the company. I like the company of women. Oh man, I was pissing myself laughing. It was just gold. It's like your stereotypical Frank McAvenny. It was almost like, from the Was it the Only an Excuse stuff? It was just it was
He's turned into a caricature of himself.
Yes. Anyway, so again, all other podcasts, Rebel podcasts, I've just tweeted to say it there. Online, there's 90 Minute Cynic. Desert Island Tim, so it's all coming thick and fast. So tune into those guys, hailhailmedia.com, and hopefully a few more coming up.
It's all good. I'll give my usual shout out to anybody that's listening back in Colt Brig, to the old Erngobras CSC, and obviously the Mandara Celtic Supporters Club. We've got a little function on next weekend before the Kelly game, which will be shown live in Setanta over here. We've got a little quiz night. It's a little kind of charity event, but we're also trying to raise some funds for the old Mandara CSC. So, shout out to everybody there. Special one to Marty Corney, because Marty was obviously listening in tonight. Hopefully you're still tuned in, mate. Shout out to you and your better half, Kathy, if she's listening as well, mate.
Kev, he said he's working on the bus from Mandara to Gold Coast right now, so...
There you go. He's a good lad. He's a good Donegal. He's a good Donegal man, is Marty. So I've no doubts he'll be working on the bus. I hope he's working on organising it and not actually going to be. Maybe he's going to be the bus convener. Maybe that's what he means. He'll be working on the bus. Who knows? Take the money for the driver.
Conductor.
It's all good. So, thanks, guys, for joining us. Thanks again, as Pat said, to everybody that's got in touch tonight. Hope you enjoyed the show, and let's hope we beat St Johnstone tomorrow. Stevie's already dropped out, but to the rest of you, hail, hail.
Hail, hail, guys.
Hail, hail.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway. I've been lost.